Hello and good night. Welcome to another bedtime story. This story is meant to help you sleep or to relax your mind. Try and find a comfortable place, such as your bed or a soft chair. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes now. Try and let go of the day as we begin our tale. Tonight's story is The Two Travelers. Once upon a time, in a small town nestled between vast mountains and dense forests, lived two men, George the tailor and William the shoemaker. Though they came from the same town and had known each other for many years, they were vastly different in character. George was kind-hearted, honest, and always willing to lend a hand to those in need. William, on the other hand, was greedy, cunning, and always sought to profit from others with as little effort as possible. One spring morning, the two men decided to leave their town in search of fortune. The land had been harsh in recent years, and both men wished to find new opportunities elsewhere. They packed their belongings and set off on their journey. Unaware of the trials that lay ahead, after several days of walking through the meadows and villages, they entered a dense forest. The trees stretched high above them, their thick branches intertwining to form a canopy that blocked most of the sunlight. The path was narrow and winding, and an eerie silence filled the air. As they trudged deeper into the forest, they stumbled upon an enormous bird lying on the ground. Its wing was bent at an odd angle, and its golden feathers were ruffled. George, feeling sympathy for the creature, knelt beside it and inspected the injury. "We must help the poor thing," George said, pulling a cloth from his bag to carefully wrap the bird's wing. He tore a piece of his own tunic to fasten the bandage and gently stroked the creature's head. The bird let out a low, grateful coo. William, standing with his arms crossed, scoffed. "Why waste time on a bird? We should be searching for something valuable instead." George ignored him and stayed with the bird until it seemed more comfortable. The bird, though unable to fly, looked at George with intelligent eyes and suddenly hopped forwards, motioning for them to follow. "Perhaps it knows a safe way out of the forest," George suggested, and with no better option, William begrudgingly followed. For hours, the bird led them through the dark woods until they reached a hidden clearing. At the center stood an ancient tree with roots so thick they seemed to pulse with life. Nestled between the gnarled roots was a chest covered in moss and vines. William's eyes gleamed with greed, and he rushed forwards. "A treasure chest! We are rich!" George, however, hesitated. "We should be careful. This might belong to someone." Ignoring George, William pried open the chest. Inside lay gold coins, shimmering jewels, and delicate artifacts that sparkled even in the dim light. It was wealth beyond their wildest dreams. The golden bird let out a warning call as if urging them to reconsider. George, sensing something sacred about the treasure, took only a few gold coins. "This is enough to start anew," he said. William, however, filled his entire bag. "Fool! Why take a handful when you can take everything?" He laughed, stuffing more jewels into his pockets. As they turned to leave, the ground started to tremble. The trees' branches groaned, and the air grew thick with an unseen force. The bird took flight, its wing now fully healed, and let out a final cry before disappearing into the sky. The travelers hurried out of the forest as quick as they could, and when they finally emerged, came upon a grand city with towering walls and golden spires. The streets bustled with merchants, musicians, and noblemen dressed in fine silk. They marveled at the wealth of the city and decided to settle there, believing fortune had smiled upon them. George, grateful for his small share of gold, opened a modest tailor shop and quickly became known for his skill and honesty. People came from all over to buy his finely crafted garments, and he lived a humble yet content life. William, on the other hand, flaunted his wealth, spending lavishly and boasting about his newfound riches. He wanted more recognition, more power, more gold. One day, William devised a wicked plan. He approached the king's guards and whispered, "I know a man who has stolen from the royal treasury. He hides his gold and pretends to be a simple tailor, but he is nothing more than a thief." The king, enraged by the accusation, ordered George to be arrested. Guards stormed his shop, bound him in chains, and dragged him before the king's throne. "You are accused of stealing from the royal treasury. Do you deny it?" the king demanded. George was stunned. "Your Majesty, I am no thief. I came upon a treasure in the forest, but I only took a few coins, no more than I needed." The king frowned. "And where is this treasure now?" George explained everything: the bird, the hidden chest, and his companion who had taken the majority of the riches. The king turned to William, who feigned innocence. "Lies, Your Majesty. He seeks to blame me for his own crime." The king, uncertain, decided to imprison George until further proof could be found. As George sat in his dark cell, the golden bird reappeared at his window. It pecked at the bars, and suddenly the chains around his wrists crumbled. The bird flew off, and George understood. Justice was near. At dawn, the sky darkened as a great flock of golden birds descended upon the city. The people gasped in awe as the birds circled the palace, their voices echoing like a song of truth. The king, witnessing this miraculous sight, ordered George to be brought before him once more. The golden bird, the same one George had saved, landed at the king's feet. In a voice that resonated through the hall, it spoke, "This man is innocent. The one who hoards stolen gold is the shoemaker." The court gasped. William fell to his knees, trembling, but it was too late. The king ordered the guards to search William's home, where they found the stolen treasure. Furious at the betrayal, the king stripped William of all his wealth and banished him from the kingdom. George, however, was rewarded for his honesty. The king gave him a grand tailor's workshop, and he became the royal tailor, dressing the court in the finest garments ever seen. George never forgot the golden bird or the lessons his journey had taught him. He lived with gratitude and humility in his heart, knowing that kindness would always be rewarded. As for William, he wandered from town to town, his name forever marked by disgrace. And so, the two travelers met different fates, one lifted by virtue, the other brought down by greed. And in that kingdom, the golden birds continue to soar, a reminder that truth and kindness will always triumph in the end. Thus ends the story of the two travelers. The end. Thank you for listening to this bedtime story. I hope you enjoyed the tale tonight. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more audiobooks and tales to come. Until next time.